Welcome back to the garage apartment conversion. In this episode, we're going to be building this wall. If you recall, when we did the plumbing, we marked where the center wall would go on the concrete. Knowing this would likely get rubbed out, we also plumbed up from our marks and used these nails as placeholders. Now we just need to plumb up from there to get the location of our top plate. These were cleats we used to hold up the catwalk when setting the trusses. Then we snap a line where the top plate will go. We'll lay out the truss spacing on the top plate so everything will stay where it should. We only had one ladder, so my dad used a 2x4 to help hold the top plate to the 11-foot high bottom cords. A person could do this alone by simply using a quick clamp in the middle. Now I'll try to get this truss cord aligned with this spacing mark. Unsuccessfully. Close enough. We measure for our second length of top plate and install it the same way. 2 nails at each truss. Now for the bottom of our double top plate. I use a quick clamp to free up my hands. Then nail it under the trusses as well. I gave up on the tape measure and used this laser to get the final length. Time to buy lumber during the lumber shortage. The price was changing so frequently, they installed these digital price signs. That's 10 feet right there. I have to notch the back of this board. It's important to make sure everything is flush, otherwise it will cause issues when installing the drywall. See if that fits. Not quite.
And I think that's more down here probably.
Of course, we should have insulated behind this board.
There is not that much room to give any significant insulation quality.
We use galvanized nails wherever we nail into treated wood.
Notching.
If we had put the top plate on the correct side of the line, this channel would be perfect with plenty of drywall backing on both sides. Now for the bottom plate. Here's where we realized we put the top plate on the wrong side of the chalk line, so it had to be pulled down and shifted 3.5 inches. We could have left it if plumbing weren't involved, but even being an inch off would make our shower drain useless. Our wall channels are obviously in the wrong place too.
I need to take this to the You gonna ride with me?
We'll just throw some more lumber at it.
Okay.
So you can make this drop straight and it doesn't sway.
Okay. It's not in focus. Oh, I had it zoomed in.
We use the plumb bob to make sure our top and bottom plate stud layout starts in exactly the same place. This is where the stud is.
24.
Oh, 24, thank you. And X back. So 128 and an 1/8 will probably work. It's important for the plates to be perfectly straight, especially since we'll be using glue to fasten them to the floor. The laser makes quick work of finding stud heights.
127 and 13/16. 127 and 7 8. 3/4. Ooh. 128 and 1/8. Boom. 3/4. Okay.
It's recommended to use concrete nails or other anchors.
Crank her down.
So we're taking a risk with just the glue. All the studs in a wall should be crowned in the same direction to prevent a wavy wall. A bowed wall is much less noticeable than a wavy one.
So I'm going to knock it a little bit past the truss that way,
Yeah.
because that first nail is going to knock the stud just slightly over.
Yep, good deal.
And then I come back to the other two.
And it stays stationary.
Perfect. Perfect. It's glued right there too. Now what do we got? 128.
Oh, good.
Let's make this just a hair proud on that side. And then hammer it to the line. Right there. work better. That's it.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Blocking is required in walls taller than 8 feet. Having a stop on the miter saw makes cutting blocks go faster.
Perfect.
Actually, too perfect. You'll see what I mean shortly.
Oh, it just slips in there. Look at that.
We stagger the blocks so none have to be toe-nailed.
Length 48.
Yeah,
Less.
that's a little long.
Long.
Is there a gap? There is a gap. So what it is when studs twist a little, that's why they usually do it 3/8 instead of 1/2. Let's just shave a hair off of the rest of these. Yeah, that's good.
We need to make the bottom plate run up the wall for drywall and trim backing. Being generous with the glue will also help keep bugs from getting from one side of the wall to the other.
quarters. That'll be good. That's right. On 18 and 7/16 again. These corners actually only need one nail every 24 inches. The final blocks are odd sizes. 18 and a half. All right, cut. I'm gonna jump in here really quick. You can see the wall is built already. In fact, the whole thing is framed out. But we were trying something new with the filming this time, and some footage didn't turn out. Some was recorded in the wrong format, slow-mo, time-lapse, etc. So it didn't show exactly everything we wanted to show. So I'm gonna explain some things before we go on. So as you saw, we put the top plates in first, and then we put the bottom plate in. Treated lumber, of course, and we glued it down. When we did the studs, we used this. This is a Bosch laser measuring tape. Laser measurer. Obviously it's not a tape. You get the point. You can set it for feet in inches or all inches or metric, etc. And you can see it has the 16th. It measures all the way to a 16th in the corner. And it is really, really accurate. Hold it down to turn it off. So the concrete has some natural undulations in it, and between the undulations in the concrete and perhaps the different heights, slightly different heights of the trusses, each of these studs might need to be a different length. So what we did was put the laser, set it down on the bottom plate, and shot a beam up to the top plate at each future stud location. And we wrote down the measurement on the bottom plate itself. Yeah, so you see here it says 7/8 and 1/28 and 1/8 and so on and so forth. 7/8 is, we probably had a very common measurement like 1/28, and so we just started writing the fractions of the inches off to the side instead of repeating the whole number every time. So we did that for each stud location, And then we wrote down all our cuts on a block and went to the stack, which was over here, which is now dwindled, and cut all the studs and wrote on each stud the length. And then we just went back and read what we had written on the bottom plate and put the appropriate stud where it called for. I think that covers everything, so let's get back to the video.